Hello guys and welcome back to the Saints BD Champs and the content for our match preview ahead of Sunday's home game against newly promoted West Brom. It's our second home game in the league of the season and we are looking for our first home win of the campaign after getting off the mark last weekend away at Burnley. But before we get into it, do make sure you've hit the subscribe button with new notifications turned on. We're almost at 3k, so if you can get there sooner rather than later, it'd be massively appreciated. Follow us on all of our socials, and once again, a massive thank you to Pitch Sport for sponsoring the video. It is the app you want to be downloading for the season to get all your results, scores and other cool features with the games that are going on at the moment. Thick and fast, pretty much. And if you haven't downloaded it yet already, the link is in the bio. Right, let's get into it. Now, of course, let's talk about Saints first. A massive win away at Burnley on Saturday. The first time we've won at Burnley in the top flight since 1971. A big result. And, you know, what I saw from that is, I said it in the review, we won ugly. You know, which is something we haven't really done for a long time. You know, we showed that we have a plan B. It wasn't working in the first two games against Spurs and Crystal Palace. And it just looked a lot more convincing, in all honesty. We weren't great, you know, creating chances wise, like going forwards, we weren't good. Really, we didn't create that much, but defensively we looked pretty solid. And I didn't see Burnley scoring. I think Charlie Taylor had a really good shot from the edge of the box and it was a good save from McCarthy, but I never felt like they were going to go and score. They didn't look likely because we looked solid, which was a great contrast from, you know, literally being cut open with every single pass against Tottenham the week before. I think Yannick Vestergaard's presence at the back, okay, yeah, you could argue it's unfair to drop Stevens, but I thought he played excellently, and so fair play to him on that one. But yeah, I was just encouraged. I think it got to the point where, you know, when you've had a relatively kind fixture list to start off the season, you want to be getting off the mark as soon as possible, and that's what we did on Saturday after what had been two pretty poor games. And you know, now we've got an international break after Sunday, and hopefully we can go into with 6 points. It's really important that we do, because I think if you look at those four games, anything less than 6 points is not a big underachievement, but definitely an underachievement of some extent. And once again, we saw Danny Ings score 3 goals for him now. He's scored all of our goals this season so far. Are we becoming too reliant on him? Quite possibly, but whilst he's staying fit, there's no need for concern, really. We saw Shea Adams get the assist for his goal. He's been playing really well, working really hard and showing good habits in front of goal. He just needs to start putting the ball in the back of the net, which I'm sure will come. Of course, Carl Walker-Peters set up that goal as well. So, you know, there are players who are doing well for us, and there are some key players who've clearly started the season well, regardless of the fact that we started the league with 2 defeats and exited the Carabao Cup early. Now, of course, in an ideal world, we'll be going into this game with new signings, with a new midfielder, but that is not the case. Still waiting on that one. Monday's the deadline, and I think it is going to go to the wire, which is concerning. But I think the way that certain transfer rumours, or at least the ones this week, have gone, it sounds like it's been a bit difficult on our end of things. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get at least one player in before the end of the window. I thought Romelu, to be fair, was very good against Burnley. So if he plays like that against West Brom, great, but he was still negative, you know, regardless of the fact that we were solid and he had a very good game defensively. That was against a pretty sort of rugged side, and I feel like we want to be passing the ball forwards a lot more against West Brom. They're easy to cut open, or easier to cut open than Burnley. Let's get on to our opponents. West Brom, newly promoted, back in the big time for them. And they picked up their first point last week. Should have been 3, blowing a 3-0 lead at half-time against Chelsea. Okay, when you're going and get up against these teams with great quality, and you get yourself into some crazy position where you're 3-0 up, you can lose it. But I think the manner of which they sort of capitulated would be a massive concern for Slaven Bilic, the fans. Fair enough, it's a great point, Chelsea at home, but the way that they lost the other two, you know, they'll be disappointed with that. And they've also conceded 11 goals in 3 league games, which is way too many. You know, that's relegation form already. Regardless of the fact that they've scored 5 goals, conceding 11 in 3 is just not good enough. But this is probably the game out of the first 4 that they'll see, or they definitely saw when the fixtures came out, as the winnable one. You know, playing Leicester, Everton and Chelsea so far, they would have been seeing us, you know, not great at home. It's a possible, but definitely the weakest side out of those 4 on paper. They'd be seeing it as their chance to get a win and get off the mark. And they'll be going into it, with confidence. They've just gone and scored 3 goals against Chelsea, almost beaten them, needed a late equaliser and added time to deny them 2 extra points against Chelsea. So, you know what? I think it's going to be a tough one. But definitely one that traditionally we do well in. I think generally West Brom at home isn't too complicated. I don't want to jinx it, but obviously last time they came to St Mary's, we won 1-0. It was a difficult game, but Boufal's incredible solo goal won it for us. The year before they did win at our place, but then years before that, we've been able to beat them or get points. So it's been a mixed one, but I think generally speaking, we do quite well against West Brom home and away. So obviously that's encouragement, but that means absolutely nothing. They've been in the Championship for 2 years. They've got a new manager, basically an entirely different squad from the one that got relegated a couple of years ago, when we were literally fighting against them to avoid relegation. So it's going to be an interesting one. But of course, it's a great opportunity to get 3 points before the international break. I think, like I said, going into that international break with 6 points on the board, okay, yes, we'd rather be 9 or 10 points up, and much prefer to be in the 4th round or even the quarterfinal now of the Carabao Cup, but you can't have everything. And okay, yeah, we had 2-3 games that were sloppy, poor start, but now we've gotten a win under our belts. I feel like now is the time to push on, especially given the fact that we come back from the international break with 2 really difficult games. We've got to go to Chelsea and then host Everton, who are absolutely flying at the moment. So yeah, we could really do with the 3 points on the weekend. But going into my prediction, even though I feel like it will be a difficult game, I'm confident, and I don't want to jinx it, but I'm confident we're going to win the game. I feel like now the penny's dropped a little bit. We've kind of found the balance. This high line malarkey has sort of been scrapped a little bit. I think we'll be a lot more high against West Brom, given the fact that their defence is, like I said in the start, compared to Burnley, a lot less rugged, easier to carve apart. With that final through ball, for example, if that's what it comes to. But I think we'll create more. We'll definitely look to create more. I think with Burnley, it was more a case of get the one early goal and sort of sit back on it, which we did perfectly. I think with this one, we'll be looking to score a couple more, create a bit more. So I'm going to predict a 3-1 win. I do think we're going to score goals. I think we can definitely get 3 points. I do feel, though, that given the fact that West Brom have gone and scored 5 goals even, in the last 2 games against decent opposition as well, they'll probably score, given the fact that it's at St Mary's as well. But overall, I think we'll just nick it and get 3 points. Well, at least fingers crossed anyway. But thank you guys for watching the video. If you have enjoyed it, leave it a like. Let me know how you're feeling ahead of the game in the comment section below, and your score predictions. Apologies that the last couple of weeks the videos haven't been to the standard that they had been before. With uni and everything, it's just a case of getting them out. I just want to make sure that I've got something to talk about, that I'm sharing something, that we're talking about it. I know the socials have been pretty inactive as well over the last couple of weeks, but we're working on it, trust me. I'm not ignoring Saints View, not at all. If anything, I'm working hard behind the scenes to make it better than it ever has been before. It's just a little bit difficult at the moment, but I'm sure you guys can sympathise with that. But yeah, like I said, subscribe if you haven't yet already. Follow us on all our socials. We'll see you tomorrow for the predicted lineup. Take it easy, guys.
Let's go!